Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to another soul lesson with Aston Simmons. Today I want to talk about leaning in. Now, leaning in sounds lovely, doesn't it? It sounds like we just lean in and it happens and you know, we're caught if we fall, or we're met in that situation or with that person. But I have been on a leaning in journey for most of my life, and in my experience, the leaning in always has this kind of feeling to it. And I'm sharing that with you so that you know it's normal, that you don't, you know, even the most successful people I talk to and my coaches and mentors, they still find it hard to lean into things sometimes, especially something they haven't done before, something new. And so I just want to reassure you that if you're finding it hard to lean in, that there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing you've done wrong. There's no mistake you've made. It's just, it is meant to feel a little bit difficult, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. And I want to share with you some ways that I've really found leaning in to be more enjoyable if I do these certain things. So I really just want to start with, how do you feel about leaning in? Just ask yourself, what do you resist about leaning in? What does leaning in mean to you? To me, leaning in is a process of opening my heart and choosing to expand, choosing to focus on love, remembering the truth that we are all the same, that we are all connected, that when I close from you, I'm closing from myself. If I close off from somebody who's hurt me, I'm actually closing the pain and suffering inside of me. So I'm not only withholding love from them, I'm withholding love from myself. So that's how I see leaning in. And for me, this is a relationship I build all of the time because there's so many opportunities in life to lean in. And I find that the more I come back to my heart, the more I come back to my body and out of my mind and out of the ego, the easier it is to lean in. So the more I'm in my feminine, the easier it is for me to lean in. When we're in the masculine, we can be very attached to the outcome and to how it looks, and that can be hard when you start leaning in, because when you lean in, a lot of the time you're not met the way you want to be met. And I've had this experience numerous times in my relationship with my husband, and it's hard. It is hard to be in that moment where you're opening to love and the other person is choosing to close. It literally, when you're on the receiving end of that, I describe it to my husband like it feels like someone has just cracked the door open just like slightly, and they're just letting a little bit of love and light through, and you're just like basking in that little bit, but you're like, please just open it, just open the door, just open the door to love. I want to see all of you. I want to feel all of you. And what we're doing when we close is, you know, just letting that little bit of light in, letting that little bit of love in, and only allowing that tiny little bit to come through. And then we wonder why we're feeling like drained, exhausted, not loved, not enough, because we're not allowing ourselves to receive. We're so constricted. And leaning in is really just this gentle persistence of choosing to open, just in all of these opportunities and moments that life presents to you, choosing to open to that person, open to love, expand your mind, expand your consciousness to see that situation from a different perspective, rather than just your one stuck kind of perspective and belief system that your ego has become attached to. You know, we're not that belief system. Our ego gets very attached to it, but when we get back into our body and our heart, we can start to unravel it and really see the truth and connect to our truth. And this is the other reason that really encourages me to continue to lean in, is when I lean in, I feel connected to myself. I feel connected to my soul, connected to love, connected to the universe, connected to nature, connected to source, God, whatever you believe in, because the foundation of all of that is love and being open and allowing life to come through us, allowing energy to come through us. We're all energy. Everything is energy. And it doesn't have to be right or wrong and good or bad, which is what the ego wants to do, and conditioning kind of tells us to do. But we can unlearn that, and we can, come back to the truth that it's all just energy. It's all just energy. And the more we open, the more we allow the energy to come through us, the more we receive what we want, and the more we feel what we want when we're open. And it's such a beautiful gift to give to yourself, in your relationships, in your life. The more open I am, the more clear I am, the better decisions I make, the more opportunities come through me, the easier life is, the more I flow with life. It's so powerful, and it sounds so simple, and it is, but it's not easy. And I understand that. I want to acknowledge that it's not easy to lean in. And that's okay. We just continue to practice it. It's like everything. The more you do it, the easier it becomes, and the better it feels, and then you want to do it. So I really want you to firstly ask yourself, what are you resisting and closing to in your life? Just notice, is it interactions with people? Just observe yourself in your life. Where am I closing? What am I feeling in my body when I'm closing off? A lot of the time women are feeling like a contraction in their voice, like they're cutting off their voice, that they can't share their truth. Sometimes you'll feel a disconnection from your heart, and you won't feel love because you're closing from love. You might even feel it in another place in your body. And what I really encourage women to do in these moments, once you've made this list, the opportunity is then to take inspired action, little mini action, mini goals, not just this. You don't have to just run out there and just open everywhere and feel unsafe, because that's not the best way, I feel, to gently lean in. But just making small little practices, small little moments where you can lean in more, and they will build and they'll stack, and your nervous system will start to feel in your body that it's safe for me to open. It's safe for me to open. You'll retrain it to feel like opening is safe. And that becomes my mantra. When I am opening in situations that feel difficult, I notice my ego, telling me close, red alarm, this, you're not safe, just get out, pull back, close. And I hear all of that. And I'm like, okay, thank you, ego. Thank you for trying to keep me safe. And then I let it know I'm safe. And I talk to my body and my nervous system. I'm like, you're safe. You're safe. It's safe to open. Opening is the safest thing for you to do right now, because then you're going to feel more love on the other side. And then I take a breath and I breathe in and through the pain of not wanting to open. So, and I let it out. I let out that energy of that feeling of contraction and closing. And I breathe it out. And I'm like, it's just energy. I'm breathing out that I wanted to close in that moment, and I'm choosing again. We get to choose again. And I breathe into my body, and I just let it know that it's safe. I breathe healing and love into my body. I notice what I'm feeling. I don't judge it. I acknowledge it, and I don't try to change it either. I just make a choice to open, to feel what I'm feeling, and choose to open anyway. And it's a dance. It's a dance that you're doing with fear, with these situations where you want to close. And it's incredible. In the beginning of the opening, you feel really tight and your shoulders might be up, but the more you lean in, your shoulders begin to soften, your brow softens, your jaw loosens, the sweat falls away, and it feels good, and then you want to open more, and you want to lean in more, you want to connect more, because the leaning in brings connection. You feel more love and connection when you lean in, and there's a vulnerability in that, and that is actually a strength to be able to do that, not a weakness. So the more you do that, and the more your nervous system feels that, you actually do, you want to continue to open. And you start to feel comfortable, and you want to keep going, and then you might not be able to stop talking in that moment, or whatever it is that you're opening to that you used to close to. You will notice that your body starts to respond different to it. So it's just so beautiful. So just start with writing that list. Where are you resisting in your life? Where are you closing? Just notice it. Don't judge it. Just Just write a list, write a few places where you know that you're doing it. And you will know, because closing feels very different in the body to opening. Closing feels very tight, feels very heavy. It can feel suffocating. You can feel like you can't breathe and you just want to kind of crawl into a ball. When you open, you feel very expansive. You feel very fluid and free. It's like permission to your soul to actually shine. That's what it feels like. It's incredible, and it's just a decision. It's just a choice. That's all it is. And we get to make that in every moment. And the more I lean in, the more I have to continue to make those choices and those moments that I'm going to continue to lean in. So make that list and then notice it, and then choose when those moments come up. Choose to open to them. So if an opportunity comes up to speak in a group and be vulnerable and share your heart, and you normally would never do that, maybe this is an opportunity, if it feels good, to, with gentle persistence, to just show up and lean in and practice opening and sharing and just allowing that to happen. And just notice how you feel on the other side of leaning in. On the other side of leaning in, there is so much freedom, there is so much power, there's so much connection, there's so much love that we are withholding from ourselves when we're closed. And it's, the universe, energy, life just wants to come through us so badly. It really wants to come through us and help us to manifest and attract everything we want. But we continually step in the way. We get in our own way. We interfere with the energy. We allow our ego to tell a story that makes us feel that we're not safe, and it's just not the truth. So when we get back into our body, when we remember the truth that opening is love, we are love, and I use the mantra, I am love. I'm choosing to open to love. I am love. I'm unconditional love. I'm choosing to open to love. And that really helps my nervous system know that leaning in is love. Closing is not love. And I am here for love. That is my vibration. So, and that is all of our vibration. We come from love, we'll return to love. So leaning in is actually, it's very natural for our hearts. When we're in our heart, when we're in our body, when we're in our feminine as women, it's very natural for us to open. It's like when you're with your children and they're young and you're playing with them, you naturally open, you naturally want to go into their world, your eyes open, you become very wondrous and curious and loving and compassionate, and you want to share energy. When we close, it's the opposite. There is no energy, there is no life force, there is no connection. And the fastest way I have found to get a solution to a problem or an answer to a question or anything is to open to it. Is to completely open to it. Be open to the answer. Allow it to come through me. Allow the clarity to come in. But I have to be open to receive that. We can't receive when we're closed. So there is just so much positivity that comes from opening. Way more positivity than negativity. But I do understand that there are times when we're not met. And it's just taken a few of these times where you haven't been met by a partner or someone you love, or in a situation or at work, whatever it is, and you've closed and you have told yourself that was the safety mechanism. This is how I keep myself safe, is to close from this person, this situation, or whatever it was. And I understand that, and you need to honor it and validate it. It's very normal to do that, but it's also not the most loving thing to do for you or for the people around you or for life or for the universe or for what you're attracting in. We really turn off our magnetic energy when we close. So if we want to continue to attract in what we want, the love, the clients, the people, the energy, the connection, which we all crave, we must continue to open. And that does take courage. It does take a vulnerability. But like I said, with practice, it gets easier. So I really would love you to really share with me what you have found hard about leaning in, and what have you learnt here today in seeing that leaning in can actually be easier than maybe your mind has been making you feel. And I really want to know, like, what are you going to lean into now? What are you giving yourself permission to in those moments? Because I promise you, life and the universe are going to give you opportunities now. After you've watched this, everything happens for a reason. I really believe that. And you will be given opportunities to open. Opportunities to open in your marriage, in your relationships, in your work, in your working with your clients, with your children. It just happens everywhere. And just notice how you feel and how you move through those moments. And remember what I said, just breathe through it. You need to breathe through it. That's how I remain open, is by breathing through what I'm feeling, bringing the life force energy back into myself through my breath, so that I want to continue to open. And I really imagine my breath going from my mind back into my body, so that I'm moving from the mind and the ego and the fear and the closing back into my body, and back into opening, back into love, back into my heart, back into my feminine. And the more I do it, the more that I trust that it's safe for me to open. And I know that that will be the case for you too. So I really encourage you to do this, to lean into it and share with me. I love hearing from women how they are choosing to open more, and the gifts that they've received on the other side, and how they start to see themselves differently, or their friends see them differently. Their interactions start to feel more loving and more truthful and peaceful and kind and compassionate. And their conversations start to open up. Because when someone feels safe, when someone feels, when you're sharing with somebody and they're open, you feel safe to share. When someone is sharing with you and they're closed, and like my husband used to do, just slightly crack the door open and not let all the light in, the person sharing doesn't feel safe to show all of their heart. And I know for myself, in my experience, in those moments, I really wanted to close, but I knew that I needed to open, because it's not about the other person. It is about you and how you're feeling and attracting your energy in. But it's even about something bigger than that. It's about something greater than you. And it's about reconnecting to where we came from. It's source, it's energy, it's love. So it's getting back to that energy that's within ourselves, that infinite intelligence that's in the universe, that's in nature, that makes the sun rise. That's also within us. And we only feel it when we open. So it's reconnecting to that energy and remembering the truth of who we are. And it's so beautifully powerful. There is so much I could share about leaning in, but if this is new for you, and I don't want to overwhelm you, so I really just want you to focus on where you are resisting, send that love and acknowledge it. And now, in some moments in your life, just choose some tiny little moments where you can choose to open, and really just remember that you need to breathe through it. It's gentle persistence. Connect in with your body, get out of your mind, come back into your body, breathe through it, let your body know you're safe. And the more you do it, the more you choose to open. I choose to open. I literally command my ego and my body that I'm opening now. I'm choosing to open. And it follows. It listens and it follows. And my nervous system now knows that it's safe for me to open. I definitely still get moments where I take a big stretch and it's like, but I really encourage you to just slightly stretch. It's about stretching your capacity just a little bit past where it currently is, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more. And you'll just see that you naturally just start to open more. It's just this little stretch that's building our capacity to love and to be loved, and to remember that's who we are, that we are love. So leaning in is love. That's what leaning is. Leaning in is. It really is. And it's so beautiful, and I cannot wait to hear how this helps you. And please share it with me. I would love to know. And if you want more information, you want to know how to really lean into all the areas of your life, we can go deeper together. I do clarity calls with women, and the feedback I get is that they feel really safe. They feel safe to open and to go as deep as they're willing to go. So you're always guiding. You're always in control of how much you open. So remember that you are the one that is choosing, and you are in control of how much you open. So It's always in your hands, so you're safe and you can trust and you can open. And if you've loved this, I'd love you to reach out for a clarity call. I'll put the link in the comments, and we can get clear about where you are now and where you want to go, and really go deeper in how to lean in more to what you really want and what you want to feel. And I know that it will be love, because love and connection is what we're all here for, and you really deserve that just as much as I do. So I'm sending you so much love, so much positivity, mwah, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.